Dearly beloved, we have gathered here today to get through this thing called Mix CD. My name is Mike, part of the SPDM crew, and I love making Mix CDs. Each week, we give our guests a theme and an 80-minute time limit for which songs they're going to pick for their Mix CD. This week, we're going to be talking about movie soundtracks. And this week, I am joined by fellow podcaster, the host of the Cantina Cuisine podcast, Patric Klassen. Hello, how's it going?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad. How are you? It's
I'm
been
doing.
week. It's been weeks and months leading up to this episode.
Yeah, we have had to reschedule this a number of times, mainly on my side because life gets in the way, and I apologize for that, but I'm super grateful that you've stuck with this and we've gotten a chance to connect and to record. So this is our second recording together. We recorded an episode for Patric's podcast where we talked about the 2007 movie Transformers?
Yep, the most overrated blockbuster of all time.
Probably.
I will say that.
So, so glad to have you on my end of the spectrum this time. So, Patric, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself? Tell us a little bit about your podcast, and we'll start with there.
Sure. Well, just a little introduction to me. I'm boring, so nice to meet you. I'm normally not that funny. I don't know. There's a lot. I'm basically a person that lives in Manitoba, or as we call it, Manitoba. So that's a big little thing there. The
Mhm.
rent is cheap, but the winter is nice and gloomy, just to say at least. No, I 21 years old. I just graduated out of high school a bit ago. I've went around different stages of life, but now I'm at a full-time job now, so that's awesome. But what I normally like is movies, and I'm glad we get to talk about movie soundtracks, which I do have a little bit of a. I kind of twisted it a little bit towards my end, but I'll talk about it later.
That's fine.
It's yeah, I don't know. It's just like I like movies. I don't know what got me into. Oh, actually, I do know what got me into it. That's a lie. My two uncles from my mom's side have introduced us to old movies. So my uncle Ian, he would be one to show us all the Rocky movies. He showed us the Day After Tomorrow, if you've ever seen that. He also showed us a couple others too. My uncle showed us all the Star Wars movies. We did a 3 week marathon where we watched two movies for one Saturday. So we did 4, 5, and then 6, 1, and then 2, 3. And then we did a tradition like every year, whenever it's December, we get to go see a Star Wars movie together. That was fun.
Mhm.
And not that fun for Rise of Skywalker, but you take what we can get.
Take what you can get. That is true.
Exactly. And then he also showed us all the Karate Kid movies. That was fun. And so I have a little bit of a soft side for older movies, but I am more of a like as I've been growing older, I'm becoming more of a movie critic and more of a critical sound and mind person. Because back then, I loved pretty much anything. I loved The Last Jedi. I loved. What else was a bad movie that I liked? Oh, I liked Age of Extinction. I liked The Last Night, but I've become more critical minded and more sounded adult now. So, again, like more sounded adult, as in like I hated the first Transformers movie. So,
No, I got you there. I think we all have been there. That we look back at some of our movie choices when we're younger and we kind of cringe a little bit. But hey, if we eventually get to a point where we look at a movie more critically and be like, I think my opinion was wrong on this, but I was young, whatever, no big deal, right?
although some opinions have not changed, Cars is still a blast. Bug's Life is still a blast. What else was I saw in my childhood that was still a blast? Shoot, there was one I was thinking about. There is another one that I really loved as a kid. It will probably come back to me, but no, I love movies. It's something that I've always like loved for the longest time. Like I've never a video game person. I was more of a movie person. Fun fact about me also, I was banned for watching The Lion King as a kid.
Why?
So funny story about that. My mother, who she was babysitting a kid, it's basically the equivalent of the kid watching The Lion King every second and every minute that she was home. So basically, we were banned from it just because of that reason. And so I did the pity thing because Disney Plus came round and round. I begged my mom for us to all buy it, for mom to buy it. Of
Mhm.
course, we all pitched in because it was a great service at the time. And the first thing I watched, The Lion King, and my own. And You want to know what I watched after that? The 2019 Lion King. Because that just came out right as Disney Plus was releasing. So I spited my mom. So I'm sorry, mom, but I didn't follow your rules.
I mean, in your defense, the original Lion King is among one of the best animated movies, best Disney movies, and one of the greatest movies of all time. So I can't blame you for that at all. The 2019 Lion King movie, on the other hand,
Nope. Let's not talk about that.
yeah, that is perfectly fine with me. So,
Although I did kind of get a substitution with the Land Before Time though, because it kind of was like Lion King. So
yeah, yeah, for sure. So, well, Patrick, welcome to the show. Glad
thank
to
you.
have you on. And we're talking movie soundtracks. And despite the fact that you said that you are a big movie fan, movie soundtracks kind of felt like a natural place to go
Yeah.
for a theme for this. So walk me through what kind of was in your head when you were thinking about the topic, and how did you kind of narrow down which movies to or which songs from sound like just walk me through your
Yeah, yeah.
process.
Okay, so the process is actually going to be a little bit weird. I don't know because I think the movie soundtracks is a little bit vague because we got one hand, we got like Hans Zimmer stuff, we got James Horner, we got a bunch of other composers. But on the other hand, I went towards my direction with this, which is like not like the compo like the it's like songs like sound like song soundtracks like Danger Zone for example, like stuff like that. It's like songs that were written for the movie, although I do have a couple exceptions. I'll explain them in a little bit why I
That's
put them
fine.
there. But it's I went into that kind of direction because I don't know what it is about me, but having different soundtracks as a different like as a one playlist kind of doesn't flow that well with me.
Hmm.
Although I would be interested in doing a soundtrack that's basically just composers. That one I would be interested in. But I just wanted to get this one because I'm more of a lyrics guy. I'm more of a rocky person now, and just having to see my final list here kind of really like it really shaped the way that I am today because I love movie soundtrack songs and I love songs in general as well. Like movies are number one, and then songs would be number two. Like
Hmm.
that would be my personal thing. And having this as one of a composer for me, like it's really something special.
Nice. So we're talking about legit songs, not scores or anything like that,
Yes.
which that's its own separate animal, which would love to have you back on for that because I
Yeah.
think that is a great topic to possibly talk about because you could potentially even just do one for like John Williams scores, like just by
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
so did you put any other restrictions on yourself? Like did you want
I
to like
did.
limit it to, or did you put any limits
Well,
on the songs?
I already had my limitations because I had to make it under 80 minutes. Although I did kind of not do that.
Oh, the we're
I'll give
I'm
you the final minutes after.
we are stopping the podcast right now. You must it must be under 80 minutes. No, it's okay. It's
I'm
all good.
sorry, Mike. I'll. It's not that bad. Like I didn't make it. I wanted to make it an even number, so I'll explain that once we get there. The restrictions I made myself was mostly original. So the songs that were basically coming out for the movie, like I said, Danger Zone, or I could give an example about a Wild Robot. What's the song from the Wild Robot? Kiss the Sky, I think that's what it's called.
I believe so,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. Although that's a very honorable mention. I loved Kiss. I love Kiss the Sky from Robot. Although the Wild Robot soundtrack is amazing. Anyways, yeah, no, it's mostly original songs. I did make a couple exceptions, which is going to be going off the bat because I do have a couple musicals that I threw in there that were adapted, and then I have another one that probably one of my favorite Pixar movies of all time, but we'll get to that later. And that's basically my restrictions. Like that's just I didn't put that much. I just had I had very little room to work with, and I'm impressed with the with my list at least. So
Hmm.
yeah.
All right. So let's just get into it then. So how many songs do you have on your list?
Okay, so first off, I'm gonna give you the runtime. It's gonna
Okay.
be an hour 22 minutes, which is 82
Oh,
minutes. So
okay.
it wasn't that bad.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll
Like I said, I tried to keep under your thing, and the even number I wanted to talk about was because I had the original playlist under like an hour and 19 with 19 songs, and I was like, And there was one that I really wanted to add that I really did not want to miss. It's going to get off the bat. And so I brought it to 20 songs, which I think is a fair even slate. Like you put 10 songs on one CD and then 10 on the other side. Like just basic things. I don't know if that's how CDs work, but
That
yeah, that's
it kind of breaks my heart that you ask that, but then again, you're kind of young, so I totally
I
get it
mean,
because you didn't
I don't.
you didn't really grow up with CDs being the primary means of consuming music. So
Well,
I
my
I I
thing
get
would
it.
be my thing entertainment wise would be that I did VHSs. So I do have
Okay.
I should
You-
not have.
You're all good then. You said VHS, all is forgiven with the CD thing.
Although
So
seven of the 15, seven of the many VHSs I owned was all just Land Before Time sequels. So
well,
I don't know how thrilled about that anybody else would be because they were all pretty crappy.
eh,
Although the one with Littlefoot's dad was actually pretty good. I remember that a little
oh,
bit. I might have to rewatch that. But anyways, that's my restrictions. I put myself. I tried to do it. Came up with a list of 20 songs, 82 minutes, and yeah. Is there anything else you want to ask?
no, let's get into the list.
Alrighty.
So it sounds like you have 20 songs. So why don't we group this and kind of just do groups of four? So give me your first four songs. So
Okay.
tell me the song. We'll talk about it, and
Okay.
like if I have any other questions
So
for you, we'll go from there.
are we
So
are we just are okay, so just for clarification, we're doing I'm saying the four songs and then we're gonna talk about it after, or do you want me to is that
go
what we do?
just
I just want to clarify that.
no, it's all good. Why don't we just let's just go one by one. So it's all good.
Okay,
So
sounds good. All
all
right.
right.
So I did make one exception to the rule though about the song soundtracks. I did actually add a composer just because I thought it would sound fitting. I added. I also one more thing I actually forgot to add. I forgot to add that I chose to have at least two, or the maximum of two songs per soundtrack. So I can't
Mm,
add a bunch of songs to like from like Cars or like The Greatest Showman. Like I tried to restrict myself with that too. So I did make one. I don't think I made the exception with this one, but I added the first song. It's gonna be the main titles. You've been called to back to Top Gun from Top Gun Maverick, and you'll see why I made that exception to that rule. But I don't know, like it's probably the greatest opening soundtrack of all time. And if we're going for a CD basis, like it is definitely an opening banger,
yes, it
especially
is.
with the next song on the list, Danger Zone. Let's go.
Yep.
And then
Though
number
that's
three,
though
yeah,
hold on.
yeah,
Those
yeah,
are two great songs to start off with because
yeah, yeah.
The Top Gun soundtrack is among one of the best soundtracks probably ever
Oh,
because
absolutely.
they've got a lot of great songs on it. And what are your thoughts on just the Top Gun movie in general?
I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not the biggest fan of Top Gun. But I do love Top Gun Maverick.
Mhm,
Reason being is like Top Gun for me is it is corny, it is cheesy. I just don't get the style of it. Like I'm
mhm.
not the biggest fan of the way they do stuff with it. But I do love Top Gun Maverick. It adapts it, but does it something a little bit differently. And also the flying effects and everything with that, the real stunt work from Tom Cruise and all that stuff is brilliant. Like I love that kind of the art. I love the direction they went with that. And of course, although I do hate the first, don't I do not like the first Top Gun Maverick movie. I do love Tom Cruise as an actor. He's a babe. So
Nice.
we could go into my next two. Song number three. I don't know if you've ever heard of this movie, but it came out 2017. It's a musical adapted by probably the first circus person. I forget who the name is. It's called The Greatest Show. It's by Hugh Jackman. Well, Hugh Jackman and Keela, whatever her name is, I forget her name. The lady with the mustache, Zac Efron and Zendaya. They both get parts in the song. I mean, like,
That
if
song's a banger. I love that song.
really, okay, I thought I was the only person that thought about. Wow, okay,
No, I look, okay. Greatest Showman, let's take aside the fact that the actual story of P.T. Barnum doesn't exactly match what the story is actually saying. But, however, that doesn't change the fact that the songs are catchy as hell. The
yes,
Hugh Jackman is fantastic in it.
yes.
And it does have actually like a good message as well. So I'm all for the Greatest Showman love. So go ahead. Tell me why you picked it. Like you went with the first song, The Greatest Show.
Yes, I went with
Okay.
the greatest show. It is again, it's a nice banger. It's a nice opening. Like if it wasn't for main titles being the opening, I would put it in the greatest show as the
Hmm.
opening song. But it's just like I don't know. It's like the vibe of it, and just like especially Hugh Jackman because I never knew Hugh Jackman could sing. Like
Hmm.
I knew before, like after the fact that I saw The Greatest Showman, I figured out that he did the movie version of Les Miserables or whatever that title is.
Les Miserables, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not French, so I don't speak that language that well, so
It's
I
all
can't
good.
pronounce it.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, it's like the songs are catchy. The singers bring it out a lot. Like I think that having great singers with a great song really helped the movie at least with
Hmm.
everything around it. Even especially with what you said with P.D. Barnum and the story behind all of that, and just having the actors being catchy, having them being giving great performances. It's just really awesome, and I love the instruments too because I'm also a big orchestra guy. So I like orchestra mixed in with rock and having this as a song for having a little bit of a sample of what that could be because it wasn't really a big hit at the time. So
No, no,
having
but
that being having this movie soundtrack being a part of that like kind of trend. Well, it's not really the big trend still now, but having this being the start of something that's kind of underrated, it's honestly really cool. And then my number four would be I don't know if you've ever heard of the Netflix original, 2021, Andrew Garfield, Tick
tick tick
Tick
boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
It is my number four song is 3090.
There
And that's another except that's one of the exceptions that I made with the music with the original take.
so 3090, there's there's so many good songs in Tick Tick Boom. And
Yeah.
I did a recording with somebody recently where we did songs from he made a list of the 25 best movie musicals of the last 25 years. And we picked songs from some of those, some of those for our list. And he said, I think he picked 3090 and I picked Therapy Session for mine.
Hmm.
Like, because Tick Tick Boom it's a great movie, and
Yeah.
I really liked it a lot. Lin-Manuel Miranda, who knew that he's got an eye for direction? So good for him.
And who knew Andrew Garfield had a singing voice? Like, oh my goodness.
I'm
He was
convinced that
amazing.
I'm convinced Andrew Garfield can do anything at this
I
point.
honestly I am too. And then when he came back for No Way Home, like dang, like
Yeah.
he can still act, he can sing. I love Andrew Garfield. I am on the Andrew Garfield train, and I'm on the train that Sony should be doing the Amazing Spider-Man 3. So, besides that, I mean, like it's a great song. I love the reference of Netherland on the bridge, like having that being like a message of the song being like growing older. Like that is honestly a really good connection that I really love for the song. And again, it's not original, but I do think it deserves a spot on the list just because I think Netflix put out a big banger. And again, the songs, just like The Greatest Showman, really carried the movie.
Yeah. Good call out with those. Those are three great movies with four great songs right off the bat. So
Yeah.
awesome stuff
Is
with
it,
that.
do you have any other? Do you have any comments? Anything about
So
the top four that I
So
put in?
here's a question I have for you. So let's go back to Greatest Showman. So
Yeah, yeah.
you picked The Greatest Show. Uh, were there any other songs from that soundtrack that you really enjoyed?
I enjoyed all the songs from the soundtrack. I mean, like I have over half of them on my official playlist. I have This Is Me, I have Come Alive, and I will say Come Alive is probably my favorite song from that soundtrack. I will say that to my death grave. Like I love that song so much. And then I have For Now On. What else did I have? I had someone I know there is one more at least. Or maybe two actually. Hang on, give me 1 second. I'm just searching this up on my Spotify because I cannot come up with the life of me. Hey, this show. Okay, yeah. So I have From Now On. I have A Million Dreams. Oh, and I will say this: Pink's cover of A Million Dreams is fantastic, and you all should
Pink,
listen to it right now. I
yes.
love. I'm not the biggest fan of some of Pink's songs, but she has a great vocal. She has a great vocal range. Like I
Mhm.
love her voice. And then Rewrite the Stars. That one is a banger. And I do want to give a shout out to No Resolve the cover band. They did a fantastic cover of Rewrite the Stars. It's a nice slower version of the song, and it's really good. And I think it even beats the original. And then
Okay.
yeah, I think so. It's you should listen to it. It has a nice combination of violin, piano, and just it's really good. I'll send you the link later if you want. But
Nice.
It's a great song. I mean, like again, Greatest Showman is a great soundtrack, and I think that all the songs hit a big. They hit the ball out of the park. Although I do have to say, I did not know that the Greatest Showman director even did like. I don't know if you saw the Robbie Williams biopic, Better Man.
Yep.
I was not that impressed. Like he did not do a great job with it. Although I do think that Rock DJ, that whole scene was actually really good. So, but yeah, I don't know. I just like Greatest Showman. I don't know why, but it's just like a really good movie, and I really vibe with it a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's great messaging, and
Hmm.
everybody in it is great. I really like Zac Efron in it. Zendaya is great in it. Yahya Abdul Rahim. No, I think I fucked that up, but I'll edit it in post, whatever. But he's great as Zendaya's brother in
Hmm.
that. Yeah, I really like that one a lot. And there, it would have been hard for me to pick one song from that, but when I've done some of these lists in the past, I give myself a rule. It's like only one song per movie, just so that I could showcase some of the other ones that are out there. But it's your list. I appreciate the fact that you even included it on your list because I I think The Greatest Showman is starting to become maybe even slightly underrated. It even made an awesome cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine, like
Yeah.
very, very briefly. So good call with those. So all right, let's start with your next group. So
All
give me
right.
your next set.
All right. This next four is going to be a little interesting because I have another song that didn't really adapt to the rule, but I needed to add it. But this it's going to come up on the next one. This first one, it's a nice classic 1980s theme song from a very famous movie. You might have heard of it, Ghostbusters. I got Ghostbusters by Ray Park Jr. And
Hmm.
I do also, again, I want to make a shout out to Finger 11. They have an awesome a cover of a Ghostbusters, very rocky version, and I love
Nice.
that song a lot.
Nice.
If I was to substitute that, I would substitute that for the Ghostbusters, but I couldn't because I needed to keep this original, and also I wanted to keep it under the runtime as much as
The
possible. Although
the
I do,
the original's a classic. You can't really touch it. Have you heard the kind of the story behind it that Huey Lewis in the News sued Ray Parker Jr. because
really.
he took the tune from Ghostbusters from one of his songs. So if you listen to the song, I'll have to check what the Huey Lewis and the News song is, but the tune of it sounds strikingly familiar, and it's like
Huh.
oh, that's where I got that from. But it still doesn't change the fact that Ghostbusters is a great song. I
It is a great song, but I do like think that the instrumental stuff is a little bit like I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of the instrument stuff. Like I love the vocals, I love the lyrics, but the instruments are not they just don't do it for me. Which is why I love the rock version by Finger 11 because it does it a lot better. But again, fun fact actually, I have never watched a Ghostbusters movie.
Okay, time out. How do you have this on your list if you've never seen any? Well, okay, like first two Ghostbusters movies and maybe Afterlife, but what's up with that? You say you're a movie
Um,
person, you haven't seen
Yes,
Ghostbusters?
but okay, so my parents, when I was a kid, they banned Ghostbusters and also anything that was monstrous because they didn't want us to watch monsters and ghosts. So
That's
that's
fair.
expl
That's
that
fair.
explains my childhood. The reason why I didn't go to Ghostbusters was because I had my own movies that I wanted to watch and not Ghostbusters. So it is on my radar. I do want to watch it. I don't want to watch the female version because it looks horrible, although Chris Hemsworth is in it, but I'll only
Mhm.
watch the scenes that Chris Hemsworth is.
Yeah.
It is on my radar, and I do want to get to it. But I do love the
It's
song. It's a classic, and I think that if I didn't include it, I would probably get shot.
Yeah, it's it's a funny movie. It's not like Godfather level of classic, but it's still a fun movie to watch. The Huey Lewis and the News song is called I Want a New Drug. So one of these days, listen to it and be like, oh, okay, I hear it now. But
I'll probably listen to it after recording, honestly, just to
yeah,
see what's going on.
all right.
Next on the list, I kind of alluded to this movie before and how I made a big exception to this one on Cars, and it's not Life is a Highway. It's not any of the other songs. It's Real Gone by Sheryl Crow.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
probably one of the best covers that I have ever heard. because I've listened to the original one, and I don't know if you ever heard of this, the original cover, the original guy who did this cover, but he did it. The reason why I heard about him was because he did a movie with Jackie Chan called The Kids Next Door or The Next Door Neighbor or something like that. So I saw him from there, and so that's how I recognized him. But no, this is probably the greatest cover I have ever heard from anybody, except for I do think Life is a Highway is the second best cover from, because I'm not the biggest fan of the Tom Cawthon that's on anymore because I do love Rachel Flatt's version, but I just could not get off of being real gone because I don't think anybody talks about it enough.
Okay, got it.
I don't know. What
Okay.
do you think? Do you remember that cover a little bit or?
I do. I mean, I've got two daughters, and when they watch Cars, they were both like, eh. And I remember when I saw Cars, I enjoyed it because,
Yeah,
I just thought it was different from a lot of the other Pixar stuff. I enjoyed the music. I enjoyed the messaging behind it, small
yeah,
town USA and, you know, like the whole story with Lightning McQueen, I did appreciate as well. It's not anything groundbreaking or anything like that. I mean, most of the Pixar stuff isn't really like groundbreaking, but it's all got great messaging. The animation's great, and I mean, the car soundtrack. I was wondering if you were gonna pick the Life is a Highway from Rascal Flatts, which it's a great song. I like that cover a little bit better. It's it's kind of hard for me to listen to the original without like thinking of the Rascal Flatts version, but
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, it's that was a good song to pick because yeah, it's unexpected. And I guess that's what I appreciate about hosting a podcast like this is that I never know what I'm going to get from these podcasts and from these playlists. So, good shout out for the Sheryl Crow song. Yeah, for sure.
And I do also love Sheryl Crow's vocal range as well. She's a fantastic singer as well. Like I don't. She also did a cover of a Sweet Child of Mine.
Yes, she did
I
it for the movie Big Daddy, actually. So
Oh
that's
really? I
mhm,
had no idea.
yeah,
Okay,
that
I that's on my radar now.
there you go. All right,
Um,
what's your next
next
song?
one. This one is from a movie that I saw because of my uncle, and this is the first time that this artist is going to be appearing on this list. It is Survivor, and no, it's not Rocky. It is actually Karate Kid. The moment of the truth. Nice little tease there. Nice little
That
tease.
that is that was a nice sleight of hand there. Boy, those
Do you remember
Karate
this
Kid,
song?
yeah, oh yeah, the Karate Kid soundtracks were actually all pretty good. I like the first two in particular. You know, all the other ones are
I
fun.
don't. I actually remember me myself not liking the second one.
The second movie or the second
The second movie.
the second yeah, second movie's fine. I
I
mean,
remember.
like
Yeah.
none of look at the end of the day, are any of them ever going to reach the heights of the first Karate Kid movie?
No.
Probably
No.
not.
Definitely not.
So
Although I do think that Cobra Kai has reached that height.
I would agree with that. So I take it you're a big Cobra Kai fan.
I love Cobra Kai, although I did stop watching season 6 after the first two episodes because they were really bad.
I mean this so not to go on a quick Cobra Kai tangent, but
Yeah. Yeah.
the first 10 episodes have just gone completely off the rails. And is it the best for Cobra Kai? No. But is it entertaining? Yeah. It's entertaining. It is gone to some unexpected places. And first of all, I hate that Netflix split it up into three seasons, like or three parts of the final season. I hate when Netflix does that. I know why they do it because they get a chance to like kind of spread things out, and it's all has to do with money.
We'll
But
spread things out by doing weekly episodes then.
I
Like,
like and if anyone needs to take a cue from that, it's Netflix because they refuse to do that with everything that they have. Only a handful of their stuff goes week to week, and it doesn't make any sense. But Cobra Kai, the first five episodes are all of them trying to figure out who gets to this tournament in Spain, and then the
yeah, yeah.
second five episodes are the actual tournament in Spain, and that feels a little bit more like a Cobra Kai thing where they're actually at the tournament because they're fighting and not just like bitching and complaining about who gets to go to Spain. So
Yeah, yeah.
I would encourage you, give it a shot. You're gonna have to power through some bullshit, but it's still entertaining.
I tried to plow through some crap after the first episode, and I could not handle after the second one. Like that second episode was just garbage.
Is that was that the one with Crease and the
No, the second one wasn't with Kreese. I think the second one was with shoot, I don't remember what the second one was. Hang on, I cannot believe I do not. I mean, I don't remember it because I thought it was crap and I could just forget about it.
right?
Yeah, Netflix. Hey, because you have to do
Mhm.
classic. Had to go to classic loading stuff. There we go. If I could just click the search button, Cobra Kai. There we go. Oh, oh no, yeah, that was the Kreese episode going against Daniel, trying to prove his loyalty. I don't know. I just did not
Yeah,
like
that
it.
one that one
It
was
was
in
it was
in
not.
in your defense, that's a weird episode.
It was not, and especially after the first episode, which is that's just we got the kid back with his brother just dealing with a bunch of bullies. Like it's just
Mhm.
no. But okay, back to Survivor. I love Survivor. Like I haven't listened to any of their songs outside, but they do a great job with movie soundtrack songs,
Yes,
and
they do.
especially with Moment of Truth. Like okay, I will have to admit, I first of all I thought that the song was called "The Moment of Truth." What is this language? The moment of the truth? Like that doesn't roll off the tongue.
No, it doesn't, but hey, it was
It
the
is a
80s.
great song though.
It was the 80s, man. The 80s were a
Yeah, but
weird place. Yeah,
I mean, things are a weird place right now. So,
that's that's fair.
like,
But
literally, as we are recording, the tariffs are still going on. So,
yeah, yeah.
screw the 51st date. We are staying as we are.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, not to
Trump,
get.
Trump, Trump doesn't really understand that. Hey, sovereign country here. We don't need to annex Canada because Canada is Canada and Greenland has its own thing as well. So come on, man, just let it go. What? How does this make America? Anyway, no, no, no. We're
Anyways,
not
yeah,
we're,
sorry,
we're,
sorry.
we're not talking about this.
I
But
tried to make a joke and it just fell flat.
no, it
Anyways,
didn't. I got you. It's all good.
okay, all right. But anyway, Survivor, good band, good cover songs. Moment of the Truth, awesome. I love
Mhm.
it, and it does define the '80s music. Like it is such a, it really defines it with the style and with the song and with the lyrics and just how it has a key change in the last chorus. Like I thought that was fantastic. And yeah, it's a great song, and I thought it fit the movie really well as well.
Yep.
Going to my last pick. This one is also we're going like way forward in time to a Disney era song, probably one of the most milked franchises of Disney's decade, and I am so pissed that it's this one and not another one. It's not from the first movie; it's from the second. It's Panic at the Disco's Into the Unknown.
Okay. Okay.
Again, I went with a rocky feeling,
Okay.
and I do at the time. I love Panic at the Disco. I don't love it as much as I do now, but I loved it. I loved their cover of Into the Unknown. I don't know why. It's just really good. Like I
It
just
is it is good. The second Frozen movie did actually a pretty good job of doing a bunch of different, kind of like rock covers to some of the songs. So they
yeah, yeah.
did Weezer did a version of Lost in the Woods. And
Right, yeah.
like it's fine, but the Panic at the Disco version of Into the Unknown was actually really good. It was
I feel like it's better than the original. Like it goes so hard with the orchestra and the rock. Like
Mhm.
again, it continues the trend, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
To a movie that is not that great.
Well, that was the thing that I was gonna say is that I would not have pegged you as somebody who would have liked Frozen 2, but then yeah, like it's
I'm not even
it's
the biggest
not
fan of Frozen overall. And like I said, it's a milked franchise. Tangled should have gotten the love that Frozen has gotten.
yeah.
Tangled's is a much better movie, and it has much better songs. Like
Yep.
I See the Light, like an honorable mention. I See the Light,
Yep.
fantastic. Probably one of
No,
the best. Probably
uh,
one of the best Disney songs of the 2010s. Screw Let It Go. Screw Into the Unknown. It is I See the Light. I love it.
as
It's an honorable mention. But yeah.
as
Anyways,
as a dad of two daughters, it is very hard for me to listen to anything Frozen related because my oldest went through a phase where she listened to Frozen nonstop, and now the youngest one is going through that same phase.
oh,
And let
I
me
feel
tell you
for you.
something, Patrick, it sucks. It sucks so bad. But hey, the things that you do for the people you love, right? So,
Yeah, well, I do have a fun fact, a little funny little thing to point out. I don't know how many times you watch Frozen, but I had little cousins that had the same obsession as your daughters. 40 times.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
came over because we had to do respite and babysitting because my sister has a bunch of stuff going on with her. 40 times. One time was in Chinese because we
Yeah.
wanted to spice it up a little bit.
Oh,
We literally put it in the Chinese language for like
lucky
10 minutes,
you.
and then for 10 minutes, only
You
for
were
10
like,
minutes, and
no,
then we switched back to
can't do this
English.
anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree with your take that Tangled should have gotten that love that Frozen got. I think Frozen is the epitome of right place, right time, right audience. And
Yeah.
it just sucks that Tangled sitting there as a great movie that, yeah, now that she doesn't have long hair anymore and her and Flynn got married because of that short, what other story is there to tell? There's plenty of story to tell still. You just got to think of something good. So it just sucks that Tangled, for all intents and purposes, the story's over pretty much, and Frozen is gonna get another sequel because it makes a truckload of money for Disney. So
It's actually going to get 2 sequels because we got Frozen 4 coming out in 2030. And you want to know what's stupid? Tangle did get something. They got the Disney
they got a
XD
TV.
series,
They got a TV show where
which
she,
lasted 2 seasons.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, I'll give you that, but it's come on, Tangled deserved better, but hey.
Yeah, they did. Anyways, do you have any comments from those next four
Oh
tying
no,
into back to the?
no, I hit you with most of my comments during it because
Okay.
the Frozen one that was unexpected, but good call out with that. Ghostbusters is Ghostbusters. You're gonna have to come back on at some point and tell me what you think. To be honest, it hasn't really aged that well, but hey, it still it still has funny moments, and I will give it credit for that.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. All right.
Shall I continue?
Yep. Go ahead.
All right, my next four is going to be another interesting one because there's going to be one that you probably have never heard of, and that's this next one. Have you ever heard of the movie Over the Top
Yeah, it's the arm wrestling movie.
with Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah.
I only found this because of my not release radar. The Spotify had a thing where it was like, "Oh, you like these artists, maybe you might like this." And I was listening to a phase at that time, Rocky Four soundtrack, all those kind of soundtracks, and I have Winner Takes It All as the next one. Again, it defines 80s movies. And again, I have not watched this movie before. I only listened to the song. It's a great song. I love the vibe of it. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just like,
the con
it's
the
weird, but it's good.
the
It's good.
context listening to it in the actual movie is it gets you pumped up. It does its job, and that's definitely what you needed to do. So that's great pick. Over the Top is an interesting movie to say the least. It's one of those that you can just turn on, have a blast with. If you're looking for like just something that you could just have fun with, Over the Top is definitely a great one to choose.
And here's the question for you. Did Sylvester Stallone actually act?
I mean, can you other than like the first Rocky movie, like does he
Well,
act in
like
a lot of his movies?
that's the question. Did he act or was he just himself?
Yeah, he's pretty much himself for the
Ah,
most part. I mean, he's a truck driver who finds his way into this secret underground arm wrestling tournament. So no, of course he didn't act in it. He was just himself. But 80s Stallone is still great. It's better
yeah.
than I think, with the exception of Rocky. I mean, a lot of the movies in the 80s that Stallone was in, between all the Rambo movies, Over the Top, couldn't have gone wrong with it.
Yeah.
So, all right.
That won't
That's
be the last time I will be mentioning Rocky. So let's
that's
get that. Let's put a pin on that conversation.
all right. Sounds
Um,
good.
Next movie, it's not Rocky, but it's gonna come up much later. This one is probably the most interesting song that I think I've had on this list because
Oh,
it has never been covered by anybody.
okay.
It's not a song that I don't know why it hasn't been covered by anybody, but this song remains as probably one of the most craziest songs to ever not get covered. You know the band Cheap Trick. This is Mighty Wings from Top Gun,
From
and
Top
the
Gun,
okay,
yeah.
here's what I did. So I picked. You notice how I said that it was the main titles was from Top Gun Maverick,
Mhm.
correct? And so, with that except just in a role because it's technically its own movie, I put in two Top Gun movies. That
It's all good. It's all good.
I did needed to put in at least two Top Gun movies because I love the Top Gun, like you said. But Mighty Wings is probably the most interesting one because it has. I don't think it has been covered by anybody. I don't know
It's
why.
well, it's
It just feels like a one hit wonder and nobody ever talks about it. And I feel like that everybody should because it's probably I will take a controversial take. I think it's a little bit better than Danger Zone.
that is a very controversial pick.
Just a little bit.
I'm going to forgive that. But so it just sucks because Mighty Wings is a great song from
Yeah.
the Top Gun soundtrack. It just got overpowered and overshadowed by Lord of the 80s movie, Kenny Loggins and Danger Zone, and then also Take My Breath Away also just overshadowed a lot of the other songs on that list. So, but Mighty Wings perhaps is the most underrated of the songs on Top Gun and definitely deserves a lot of love. So I'm glad that you picked that one because I think anytime I hear Take My Breath Away, it kind of makes me cringe a little bit because
Yeah.
Take My Breath Away kind of represents this thing in movies where it's like, this song makes no goddamn sense for this movie, but fine, I get it. It's all good. I'm also looking at you, Kiss from a Rose from Batman Forever, even though I secretly love that song. But anyways, but Mighty Wings fits perfectly with Top Gun, and I feel like it could have been more popular had they kind of pushed that out a little bit more as opposed to pushing out Danger Zone, which, you know, Marvel has that TV series What If, and I feel like that could be a What If episode. Is that what if the Top Gun executives pushed out Mighty Wings instead of Danger Zone to people? I don't
And
know.
the thing about that too being overshadowed is that it was an end credits song. It didn't
Yeah,
even fit in the movie at all, which is
yeah.
like really sad.
Mhm.
I would have rather have "Take My Breath Away" as the final song than having "Mighty Wings" as like you said overshadowed.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love. I don't know why it hasn't been covered by anybody. Like I don't know if it's just because of a rights issue. I'm not sure if just Cheap Trick just says no.
I
It's a
think
weird one.
it's probably because it's just not it's I don't I'm not going to say it's not a popular song because I do think there is definitely an audience out there for it. I just think that between it getting overshadowed and I don't know, maybe it is one of those things where Cheap Trick loves that song and they don't want anyone to touch it because God knows that Cheap Trick has a lot of great songs that get covered to death. They have I Want You to Want Me, Surrender, all of that stuff too. But Mighty Wings, I don't know. Maybe one day somebody will cover that. Who knows? Time will tell.
Just to say, for the audience perspective, I looked up Cheap Trick's listens on Spotify, so this is not from every music things. Guess which placement it's on for the most listened songs for Cheap Trick?
I'm probably gonna guess what, like two or three?
No, it's four.
No. Okay.
66 million listens.
There you go.
So I don't know if it's 66 million minutes or if it's 66 million listens, but either way, it is Cheap Trick's most top played song. And
Mhm.
that's again, I'm very surprised that I really wish that they would just let that because I do want to hear a cover, but at the same time I do love the fact that it's just its own solo thing and we just listen to the original thing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, my next pick, another Disney movie, although it's not a Pixar movie, it is its own original thing. It just celebrated its 30th anniversary this year. The Lion King. I had a lot of picks to go with, but I just decided to go with I Just Can't Wait to Be King.
Hmm.
And again, Lion King soundtrack is so good. I love the African feeling of the movie and just having that being the center piece of it. I do like Circle of Life. I do love Can't Feel the Love Tonight. I picked I Just Can't Wait to Be King because it's just an upbeat song. It's just something that I feel like that kids just want to just groove out to. It's a very kid song, and I
Hmm.
really appreciate it for it being like that.
I just can't wait to be king. If you're looking for anything that embodies the main difference between the live action version and the animated version, it's I just can't wait to be king because when when that sequence happens in the animated one, you cannot stay seated in the seats. You have to, you're getting up, you're grooving. In the live action one, it's like this is weird. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Like, granted, the song is still great, but it just feels off. And that's what makes, like the original Lion King so great because all of the songs were fantastic. And I just can't wait to be king is I think a personal favorite for mine because I don't know, it's the one that I knew all the words to. It's the one I was looking forward to the most when it came on in the movie. Um, I even liked it a little bit better than Akuna Matata, and
Yeah,
that one is probably arguably the most popular song from that soundtrack, but it
yeah.
doesn't change the fact that I just can't wait to be king is great song, love it. It's just a lot of fun.
Yep, and I have to agree with all your statements there. I would actually put this as probably my favorite song from Lion King, like in general.
Mhm.
Like I think it's probably the best one out there, and it's probably one of the best '90s song that Disney's ever put out. So that's another little hot take. I don't know if you're curious, shoot me or not.
I'm
Um,
not going to shoot you on that. I think that's you could make an entire playlist of just Disney songs and then just
yeah,
have a conversation about, which ones are among the best to choose from. So,
yeah.
it's I just can't wait to be king is definitely up there. So I will give you credit for that. So won't shoot you or anything like that because then I'm showcasing the American stereotype. But hey, it is what it is.
I mean, yeah.
You're just gonna sidestep that one, no problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My last one for this group of four is from Rocky Four. It's not the one that you're thinking. It's actually the other one that you're probably thinking about. By Touch. Does that ring any bells?
Yes, yes, it
The
does.
Sweetest Victory. Yep. Again, I do have to say, I think Rocky Four is probably the best Rocky movie. I don't know if you're gonna agree or disagree with me on that, but I think one of the main reasons is because of his soundtrack. Like we got Burning Heart from
Mhm.
Survivor, honorable mention. We have The Sweetest Victory, a really good song. We have the one that we shall not name till whenever I name it. And then there's the other one. Oh shoot, what the heck is that other one song called? Oh shoot. Oh crap. Oh shoot. Oh yeah, No Easy Way Out. I love No Easy Way Out. It's a nice little slow song there. But yeah, I think that because of the soundtrack itself, and the weird thing is that it's not from the typical like Rocky soundtrack because we have the first three where it has the original like songs like we have the opening montage, we have the training montage, and then we have the fight
Mhm.
montage, and it's like that's not in this movie. It takes a different approach, and that's what I most appreciate about it. And the Sweetest Victory is just again 80s song representative. It's
Mhm.
basically another sound from the 80s. Very
Yeah.
jazzy. I love the saxophone in this song. It's really used very well. Although I do think that it kind of got I do think you could have used it a lot more because it does make it's grand like number at the end of it when we get the whole chorus repeating a couple times. But and then it's just it doesn't get represented in the first verse and the first chorus, but then the second verse is just like, yeah, I don't know. I do love Sweetest Victory. I just think it's a nice 80s song there.
So, okay, where to begin? So, your take on the Rocky 4 being the best Rocky movie.
Yes,
I will accept that take
but you're going to disagree with me.
if the original Rocky didn't exist. Because the original Rocky is, it is way different than all the other Rocky movies. I will give you that. And the first Rocky movie almost feels a little out of place now because of
Mm-hmm.
how serious it is and how creepy Rocky is to Adrian. But hey, doesn't change the fact that Rocky 4 is my second favorite Rocky movie, so I will let that slide. It's
Okay.
all good. You're all good. And that's a great pick from the soundtrack. I like it because you're right. It does have some great songs on that soundtrack. So I I can't begrudge you for picking that one. That's a great pick.
And I do want to make the argument because of two things that I've predicted, not predicted, that I've sentimented myself to having Rocky 4 higher than the other one. Again, the soundtrack and then the villains. I love Ivan Drago.
Ivan Drago is a
I think he's a
great.
much better villain than Creed. No disrespect to Creed. I think he's a great villain. And I think he redeems himself as well. He's a great redemption person. But I do think that Ivan Drago surpasses him by like millions of miles, and I think he's probably the best villain in the Rocky franchise.
I mean,
Um,
Ivan
actually
Drago
no, actually
killed.
no, actually no. Jonathan Majors, he's probably the best villain in the Rocky franchise. Ivan Drago will be second, but
Yeah,
I do love Rocky 4 because of Ivan Drago and because of how big they built up with the Russian versus USA conflict.
that that is definitely up there because Rocky single-handedly ended the Cold War for for the U.S. and Russia. So good for him.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I like the fight between them was pretty epic.
yeah,
For Ivan Drago to kill Apollo Creed in
yeah.
the ring, nonetheless, and just very simply, if he dies, he dies. Like that is a mark of a badass. And
Yep.
so I will give you that Ivan Drago to me is also among one of the he's probably for me pretty high up there for greatest opponent for a Rocky character. So either him or Adonis Creed. So I will give you that.
Where would you? Okay, so just curious question. I know we had the Johnson Majors stuff going on with that, but where would you put Johnson Majors on your list for the Rocky villains?
I so
Just out of curiosity, because I love Jonathan Majors and I love his acting. I'm very mad that Marvel fired him for no reason. But anyways, I do think he's the best villain from the franchise. But what do you think? Where would you put him in your list
I'd
personally?
probably I'd probably put him at number three because it for me because Apollo Creed is he Rocky fought him twice, lost
Yeah,
once to him, beat him once, and a little bit of the luster wore off with Apollo Creed because he does end up training Rocky. So I mean, how much of a rivalry can you have if you end up like joining sides?
yeah, yeah.
So that's why I probably put Ivan Drago number one. Ivan Drago, then Apollo Creed, and then Jonathan Majors character from Creed 3.
And then I would be the reverse of that. I would put Ivan and then Jonathan Majors and then Apollo Creed.
Hmm.
So I'm
Well, at least at
yeah.
least we have the same top three. So
We have basically the same top three. We just switched a
yeah, we
couple
just
things.
switched them around. It's all
Yeah,
good.
exactly. But what did you think about my four there? Like, did you have anything from
Nope,
you
those
wanted to
were
say?
those were all great ones. I'm sensing a consistent theme because it seems like you like the 80s stuff, which I definitely appreciate. I was born in the 80s, so I do love me some 80s music, and I probably dare I say that the 80s were probably the heyday of the movie soundtrack.
Oh, absolutely. We don't get
It's
any of this stuff now.
no,
We
no.
don't.
You
Sadly.
don't. Unless it's a musical, like no.
Yeah.
You don't the movie soundtrack is just not the same anymore. And it
No.
sucks, but whatever. It's just the way that the industry has gone now. So I
It's all
get
gone to either Taylor Swift or rap, which I hate both.
so
Yeah.
all right. So this is I think
Next four.
13 through 16 or is this your last four?
These are this is I have eight more, so I have
Okay.
two more. I have two
Oh,
more groups to go for.
okay.
This one is gonna be interesting because I have a starter up that I don't know how you're gonna feel about it. Do you remember 2020? What was the year that he put this as his goal song? Jeff Skinner put this as his goal song. Do you remember what it was?
No.
High School Musicals, Breaking Free. I do have a bone to pick
Well,
with
well,
Disney here
I
for a second. Here,
I
hold on, hold on, hold on,
never, I
hold on.
never would have thought that you would have picked a High School Musical song. I'm
Hold
I'm
on,
all here for
hold
it, but
on,
go ahead,
hold
go
on.
ahead.
I have something to say to Disney. Why the heck did you not put Zac Efron's name on here? It's just the characters' names on Spotify. It's Troy and Gabriella. Put the actors' names on it and let them get the rights for it. Like,
Yeah,
unbelievable. Disney, you're stupid.
yeah.
Anyways, that's my whole gripe, by the way. I love Breaking Free. I love High School Musical. I didn't think that I would put any of the songs on there, but this one just really fit the vibe for me. And I
This
think Jeff Skinner putting that as his goal song for a couple years ago was fantastic, and I think it's very underrated. So
this is so unexpected, but I am all here for it. I do love me some High School Musical. I
yeah,
like particularly the first one and parts of the second one. The third one's
yeah,
fine, but the third one got too big for its britches. But that first one, and it's interesting because that first one, Zac Efron doesn't even sing his own songs. It's all like his voice is
Really?
dubbed over because yeah, it's in the IMDb trivia because they didn't think that his voice was deep enough for the song or that his voice because it's puberty for him, so his voice was changing a lot. So they didn't think it was good enough, so they were like, okay, we're just gonna have you lip sync. He only sings once in the movie, and it's the part where him and Gabriella they kind of like make up at the towards the end, and then they decide that they're gonna actually do go forward with the audition, and it's when he's saying start of something new when he's standing on her porch. That's it. That's the only time that he actually sings in the movie. Yes, I
That's
do know all of
stupid.
this info because it is stupid because in the second one he is singing all of his own songs, and I think Disney that's when they realized, yeah, we messed up. We should have just let him sing because Zac Efron, look, Zac Efron has had a very interesting career in terms of his choices that he's made. He's
Yeah.
some of it like he's actually like I actually like him as an actor. He does some pretty good work. The Iron Claw was great. A lot of his other movies, he's just playing a meathead. And then the ones where he's singing in them, so Greatest Showman, Hairspray, those are all good too. So it's just when he does like stupid comedies that it's just not very good. So this was a pleasant surprise in a good way, and I am all here for the High School Musical love. So
And
very
I
nice, Patrick.
appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
And I again shout out Jeff Skinner. Thank you for putting that as your goal song just for the memes. We really appreciate it.
Mhm.
Although I do have the YouTube video for the goal songs and just how that transitioned. I think it's probably one of the best transitions for a goal song ever. So I'll send you it later because that was the year that Rick Jenner died, and they had like the after the goal song. I was like, he scores, and then the
Mhm.
player song plays, and I think that was a fantastic transition. I'll find it. I'll share with you later.
Yeah.
Next song, it's another interesting one. It is probably one of the most overlooked songs in a 80s movie soundtrack. This was released in 1985, I think. I don't know. I also haven't watched this movie before. But, again, I found it because of Spotify, so thank you. Transformers.
Okay.
It's not The Touch, because I don't like The Touch.
Mhm.
It is Dare.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Again, another song that has never been covered before, but there's a reason. No one has been able to play up to the standard of Dare because it's such a fast song. I don't even know how they got it this good. Like, it surprises me about how fast the song gets, and like the person who Stan Bush, who even plays the song, he can't even sing it right anymore. Like even a year after that he performed it in front of a live audience, he doesn't even sing it that well anymore. So it's like really weird that they got it this good. And I think that it's probably one of the most overlooked songs in the movie soundtrack because I do not get why everyone likes to touch. It's a decent song, but it's not like the song. Like it's only associated with it because Optimus Prime dies in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like this song should be a much higher than Dare. The much higher than sorry. This song should be much higher than The Touch.
Yeah,
And
I
yeah,
would agree with that. The the original Transformers movie, the old school cartoon one, is is probably the best Transformers movie out there, which is not saying a whole lot, but it still doesn't change the fact that it's a lot of fun. The soundtrack is decent, and there's a lot of heart in the Transformer in the first Transformers, the animated one from the 80s, because you're right. When Optimus dies, like a small part of my childhood died because like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean he's dead? Look, do characters stay dead for long in any movies nowadays? No, they don't.
no.
You
And
know,
I would like to argue that they don't stay dead at all.
yes, yes, that is very true. But yeah, that's a great pick though. Very nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I,
Mhm.
I don't know why most of these movies I haven't watched, but the songs are just great. Next one, I just recently did this with Colin Hildy on my episode for Cantina Cuisine. We did a recap of a very famous Steven Spielberg movie. I don't know if you ever heard of this, but he actually produced a animated movie called American Tail, and this one is Somewhere Out
Somewhere out
There.
there.
It's the end. It's the end credits version of it. It's not the child. It's not the child song. And I do want to take back some of my takes that I said it wasn't that good, and I said that it was probably the third best song in the movie. But I take it back. It is probably number one. So
I
you're
mean,
welcome. You're welcome, Colin Hilding. Your nephew has seen the light.
No Cats in America is is a banger of a song.
It's
But
fourth for me.
but somewhere out there, it is no contest. No contest. Because that is the emotional heart of the movie. This I host trivia at a bar on Wednesday nights, and it came up recently because it came up as like a lyric question for the song Somewhere Out There. And I played the song like in between rounds, and people were like, dude, like, come on, you're just ripping our hearts out from this because it's it's a poignant song, and it is starkly the Amblin, or it's not Amblin Entertainment. It's like the rival studio and like the Don Bluth stuff that he did versus like all the Disney stuff. It was just a
Yeah,
stark contrast from one another where
yeah,
it's talking about some heavy topics, and there's like borderline, I'd say it's more mature content and
yeah. I would agree. I would say so.
something for the adults, but An American Tail is one of the like it's flown under the radar, and it sucks because I think now more than ever, like considering what's going on in the US now, I feel like that movie is so relevant today that hey, it wouldn't hurt some people to give this movie a look because
Mhm.
you know it's got a lot of great things to say
Yeah,
about the immigrant experience.
yeah. And I don't feel like anybody talks about it that much. That's the
They
thing,
don't. They
which is
definitely do
like
not.
really weird because this is definitely one of the movies that I think that is really underrated, and I don't know why people don't talk about it that much because it's really really solid, and like you said, it's really mature. It's really mature for a kids movie. It does have some laughs too. Like I love the it's a Huawei lady she was funny. But yeah, no, I love American Tail, and you could go listen to it on whatever platform you want, Spotify or Podbeam or whatever on the on no, it's Oz Network. That's old. Cantina Cuisine. You get and again, Colin Hilling. Thank you. I see your point of view now. So yeah, it's the best song in the movie
Very,
because
very,
I originally put in a Never Say Never duo and then American Tail, then Somewhere Out There as my third. So I'm now squeezing it back to number one. So I'm sorry, Colin. Anyways, let's go to my fifth last song. And it's another Tick Tick Boom movie. Not movie. If it was a sequel to Tick Tick Boom, oh my goodness, I would freak out. It would be the last song in the movie, Louder Than Words. I mean, like, it's a little bit scarce because I do think that the messaging of the song is like a little bit all over the place, but I think that's what Tick Tick Boom was going for. But this song, I feel like it should have been like not as chaotic with some of his lyrics, like if you know what I mean.
mhm.
But it is a great song. I love the piano in this song. Like I'm a big piano person. And so this is a testament to how much I love it and how much it could be used in most of
Mhm.
the songs. And so, and again, Andrew Garfield, like I don't think I could sing his praises enough. Like he does a great job in this song, and I think other singers too also did a great job with helping him as well with this song. But yeah, no, I love Louder Than Words. It's a fantastic song in a fantastic movie.
Tick Tick Boom might be my favorite Andrew Garfield movie. It's pretty high up there. Granted, I do like No Way Home a lot, and
Yeah, but I wouldn't consider that a movie like his movie though. Like if I was going for an Andrew Garfield movie, I would be like he has to be like the main star. That's my personal take. I would say this would probably be my second below like Amazing Spider-Man. So that's my take at least. But no,
yeah,
I love myself from Andrew Garfield, and I love the fact that he can sing because it's just like he's good at everything.
yeah, it's very true. So those are four great songs to put it in. Some unexpected songs in this grouping, which I don't know, like this is another reason why I started this podcast as well, is that I feel like music is a great way to get to know somebody.
Yeah,
And, you know, you could tell a lot about somebody based on the type of music that they listen to. So, the High School Musical pick and the American Tail pick, particularly the American Tail one, because like you said, nobody talks about that movie, and that sucks because it's a great movie, and just it just came out in a weird time because it came out around the time of like the start of the Disney Renaissance, and it just got kind of like lost in the shuffle, and that sucks because
Hmm.
it's the animation's great. Fievel as a character is great. I am an apologist for An American Tail Fievel Goes West because I
Me too.
wore
Me
I
too.
wore out that VHS copy that I had. It's nowhere near as good as the first one, but I still had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. All right.
Let's
Last
go.
four.
Let's
Are you
go with your
ready?
last four. Yeah.
Last four. Okay, this one will not will be a little bit quick because we have a couple repeats, but I do have two that are not repeats.
Okay.
First one, movie just came out recently, again based off of musical. Screw Ariana Grande and her other music, but she's really good as an actor. Defying Gravity as the last four, number four, last song of the list. I will say though, the movie edit version of the song, like what it is in the movie, I hate. It is so like it does not feel natural, and it's
Mm.
just like it's all over the place. But the one I put on here, Spotify did a good job of editing it a lot of those parts out. So it's like instead of like that 9 minute, 10 minute bull crap that they did,
So
it's
it's
now
just
this
it's just it's
7
just
minutes.
mainly the song,
Well, the
right?
song is like I did not put the 3:30 edit song because I do think that that was a little bit under taste. I have this one did like the 7 minutes with a little bit of the soldiers and all that stuff. So
Got
and
it.
I love that. I love this edit. Again, Ariana Grande is a great singer. I do love. I do need to do a hot take because I know that Wicked is going for Best Picture and also a lot of stuff for the Oscars. I
It's
do not think it's a great movie. The last 40 minutes are a piece of crap. I do not like the part that they go to Oz. It's unresolved. It's really stupid,
it's
and it's
it's a part one though.
yeah.
What do
I
you
know it's a part
expect?
one, but you don't leave a movie like that. You don't. It's like
Yeah,
I don't like it. I have not seen the original Wicked musical, so I was going with this with an open mind. And the first 2 hours, amazing. I love the first 2 hours. Although I do not like the prince. The prince is an annoying character, and I do not like him at all. But the first 2 hours are
oh, okay.
great.
Okay.
But the last 40 minutes is what really downgrades it for me because it's
I've
like it's just
I've
a bunch of unscrambled mess.
I've seen the musical, so I know what's to come. And that the last part of this, like the whole sequence where they go to Oz feels a little out of place. And I do understand the criticism there, but I think to me, once they get to the crux of let's go back to Galinda and Elphaba as the primary characters, and you leave out some of the like Wizard of Oz stuff. That's that's where I can't help but really like this movie. This like to me this there's no way that this is going to win Best Picture at the Oscars. It's
No,
just not.
it's probably
And
going to be Dune. It's probably going to be Dune 2.
yeah,
That's what I'm assuming going to be.
I don't know. I feel like this year's Oscars race is just wide open because Amelia Perez was the juggernaut for a little while, and now,
But
I,
everyone hates it though.
except critics who I don't know. Amelia Perez, I walked away from that being like, it's fine. It's not like a great movie. If any movie was that Netflix put out was gonna win Best Picture, that would not be in like my top 10. And that sucks because Netflix has put out some decent movies that have definitely deserved some Oscars consideration, but
Tick Tick Boom as one. Red Notice I think is underrated.
I'm a huge fan of Roma. I like Roma a lot. There's a lot of other movies out there from Netflix that they put
Oh, the
out,
Santa
but
Claus. That one was good. I love the Santa Claus.
yeah. So, but anyways, the Defying Gravity, despite the fact that, we may not agree on the last 40 minutes, that Defying Gravity sequence is a showstopper. That sequence was amazing. And
Yeah.
like to me, that the whole thing with Defying Gravity just kind of reminds me of why I love going to the movies because I knew that the Defying Gravity scene was coming because I've seen the musical, but watching everybody just be on the edge of their seats during that when I was watching Wicked was like,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, this is why we go to the movies. That's right, people.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I have to agree with that again, but I do think that the edit with the soldiers and having the song cut in and out is kind of a little bit.
Oh
It
yeah,
kind of
no,
like it takes you out of the mood.
I got you.
But yeah, anyways, I'm really hoping for Wicked for good. I don't think that's the title of the movie. I hope that
No, I
will
think
resolve. I hope that will resolve my my little critiques with the movie, but we'll have to wait and see. Third last song from now on from The Greatest Showman.
it's
Again, it's so good.
it's such a great song.
It's probably my second favorite song from the soundtrack. First being "Come Alive," but yeah,
Mhm.
no, this song's amazing. I love Hugh Jackman goes off, and I love it. Like
Mhm.
he just really shows off to everybody. And I don't know, have you ever heard about the story about the broken nose?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so
I've seen the YouTube video for it. Like anybody out there, check out that YouTube video or any like that's a special scene or the behind the scenes look from like probably the DVD or Blu-ray or
yeah,
digital copy of this. But go ahead, tell the story behind it.
so I don't remember the actor or comedian's name because he did a comedy bit on it. I don't remember his name. But basically, they were doing rehearsals for not rehearsals, they were doing practices for the movie and they were doing the songs. Hugh Jackman got a broken nose and had to get surgery for it. Again, I don't remember how it happened, but it is
I
a
I actually do know what happened. So he actually had cancer on like a skin
oh
cancer
right.
on his nose, and he had it removed, and he had stitches on his nose or on his face, and they said during these rehearsals, dude, you cannot sing, you just cannot sing because or else the stitches are going to come undone, and like they did the run through of this and he just couldn't help it. He went for it. He sang. You could see that his nose starts to get bloody and he didn't care because he admits that like the rhythm just got to him and he just had to jump in for it.
Yep.
So
Kudos to that guy who substituted for him for most of the songs. I do think that his story gets a little bit underlooked because I think he did a good job with it. But
he did a great job. He's in the movie, but yeah, it's just
oh right, I forgot he was in the movie. I thought he would cut off for some reason. But anyways, from now on, just the story behind the rehearsals and just the story behind the song in general, like it's such an amazing song. I love the messaging of moving on from the fame and going back to what you were going to before. It's such a great song, and I think it builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up to this grand finale. And I do love the slow end as well. Like it's just a banger.
yeah.
Coming up on my second last, I think this is a reboot. Not a reboot, a sequel. This is gonna shock you. Mamma Mia!
Hmm.
Yeah,
I mean,
I again
I've only
never
gotten a
seen
chance
this movie.
I've only gotten a chance to talk to you twice, so one of the things that I do appreciate is that you do have a wide scope when it comes to the movies you like. So I do I do appreciate that a lot. So
But again, I have not seen this movie.
why not?
Because
Why
again,
not?
okay, I don't know why, but okay, again, for me as a person, I used to love musical. Sorry, I used to love musicals as a kid. Like I watched Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and I watched Singing in the Rain. Yeah, I love Chitty Chitty Bang
Well,
Bang. Those songs are so good. Oh my
yeah.
goodness, I wish
Mhm.
I got to include any of those, but I couldn't. Anyways, I and then I got reunited with my love for musicals by The Greatest Showman. Surprisingly,
Mhm.
I it just reignited my love, and that's why I went to go see Wicked because I got reunited with love for musicals. But I don't know why I didn't want to watch Mamma Mia. Either it was because it didn't come up as streaming services at the time or whatnot, but it is on my scope. But Mamma Mia is such a man. Like I do not know the story behind the songs. I do not know the story behind the movie because I do know that this version of it I have is from the sequel, which
Mhm.
is a little bit weird because I do not know what's going on in this franchise. But I could tell a little bit of what's going on with the breakups and all that stuff. But I don't know. Like it's such a good song, and I love the vibe, and I love it how I it sounds like a resolution song. Like
Mhm.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, yeah, I will give you that. The Mamma Mia movies are interesting because the whole concept of like a jukebox musical, I don't know, it's kind of interesting to me because there's sometimes that it works and sometimes that it doesn't. And thankfully, ABBA has so many great songs out there that it just it works. And like certain ones like yeah this makes sense, like all I will say about this is that it's of all the movies that you have on this list that you said you have not seen yet, I wouldn't put this at the top, but that's definitely a fun one. I will give you that.
am I right to assume what I was saying about the whole breakup stains and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, that was that obvious, huh?
Yeah,
Anyways,
it's not going for anything groundbreaking, so
okay,
you're
that's good. I do want to give a shout out to the other song, "Gimme, Gimme, Gimme a Man from Midnight." That one is a great cover. I love that cover. It is. I'm not gay, but if that song made me gay, that song made me gay. Anyways, that's
wow.
a bunch of weird words there. The last song, I may have alluded to it. "Eye of the Tiger." Nothing will beat the song. Nothing will ever come close to it. I don't care how good Danger Zone is. I don't care how good Mighty Wings is. This is probably the best soundtrack song that's ever come out for a movie ever.
Mm.
It is a blast. I love that it opens Rocky 4 and just the way that it comes with. No, it doesn't open for Rocky 4. It actually opens
Yeah,
for
this
Rocky 3.
Rocky
Surprisingly,
3. Yeah.
I don't. It's like it's so good. Survivor is so good. I can't get enough of this song. It is such an upbeat song. It's just an upbeat feeling. It's just like it's such a comeback story too, because the song is just like a comeback. Someone coming like doing a comeback and just being an underdog, and that's
Mhm.
what I love about the song. And again, it's just a blast. I don't know if I'll ever be able to sing its praises enough, but it's nothing will beat it. I don't care what you say, Mike, but this is the best song that's come out for a movie soundtrack.
It's kind of hard to argue against it because it's a great song. It's got a great message. Just the beginning with the duh, 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 like it fits so many different, different genres, different like playlist styles. Uh, I do not begrudge you for putting this last because if you're putting a song and you want to have like a showstopper at the end, this is it. So
Yeah.
it's a great song. It's I feel like Survivor unfortunately gets like a little the typecast is not what I'm trying to say, but they a lot of people think that this is Survivor's only song, and that's just simply not true at all.
No, it's
They
not.
have so many great songs out there. Granted, this might be one of their more popular songs, but it's not their only song, and that's you know
I
as
will take. I'll take
as
a testament to it. It's up on Spotify. 1 billion
yeah.
listens. You hear that,
Yeah.
folks? One
Yeah,
billion.
there's a
The
reason for
next,
that because it's a great song. So
the next
well,
closest. Do you want to take a? Do you want to take a guess what the next closest song to beat the second most listened?
is it The Search Is Over?
That's number 3.
Okay,
The second one is "Burning Heart" with 303 million.
that's that's still a lot. It's no Eye the Tiger numbers though.
No, it's not, but it's still like the difference, the epicness. Again, it literally. I think this is the anti 80s song because it does not have a lot of the tropes that the other 80s were going for. It's not like "Burning Heart." It's not like "Moment of the Truth." It's not like "Dare." It's his own thing. It's ahead of his time, and I just think it's perfect. Nothing will beat it. Nothing will ever come close to "Eye of the Tiger." I don't care about Ariana Grande. I don't care about Drake. I don't care about that new artist that's doing the opening song for Captain America: New World Order. Yeah, this song will be the top forever.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to end your list. Great final four songs as well. You've got a lot of great showstoppers there. So good way to end your list. So Patrick, final question I have for you is that if your playlist was an actual CD, what would the album cover be?
Probably Rocky 4 Eye of the Tiger one with the American flag. That
Yep.
would it's probably the like again that is the staplement of 80s soundtracks. And
Mm,
again, I think that is probably I've not said this yet. I think this is definitely one of the best not 80s 90s movies that's ever come out in Hollywood.
mm.
And I will argue that to the end of time. I know Sylvester Stallone can't act, but this movie is just so good, and I will fight you to the death for Rocky 4. I do have a question for you. What did you think? Do you think I left out anything, or what's your little
Oh, no,
sentiment
no.
there? Or just for
Oh, no.
personal take? Just
Personal
personal.
take? I mean, personal take. I One thing that I appreciate about your list is again the variety. So the fact that if it would have been just like all 80s rock songs, I would not begrudge you for that because there's a lot of great songs from soundtracks. I do like that you limited the amount of Disney and Pixar movies in there as well because or Disney, like specifically Disney, there's only a couple Pixar movies that have like a song worth putting on a
Yeah,
soundtrack. So the fact that you you limited yourself, because again, Disney songs could be its own list too.
yeah,
So the only thing that I will say, I'm kind of curious, like, because when it comes to movie soundtracks, there is one thing that I think is synonymous with movie soundtracks, and
yeah.
still to this day, still comes up with all of the movies. No Bond theme song.
I have not watched James Bond. None of them. That's your response. You're just gonna leave it at that?
Well, okay. Well,
That explains a lot, huh?
no, it doesn't explain a lot because okay, granted, up until like the Daniel Craig Bonds, I wasn't I'm not a huge James Bond person. I watched Goldeneye and then I watched Casino Royale, and that's when Casino Royale came out, that's when I decided to go back and watch the other ones. So I get it. I do, especially considering that the Daniel Craig ones are kind of divisive as well because it kind of breaks some cardinal rules that the other Bonds have established. Like, we don't need a serialized story for this. Like, most of the James Bond movies are pretty standalone. And why is Daniel Craig's storyline the only one that's kind of quote unquote special that gets kind of a through line? And then also, Daniel Craig is a bit of an unconventional choice when it comes to James Bond because, like, oh, he's blonde. Oh, and he's not as tall as James Bond. Like, guys, like, honestly, he's doing a great job. He's doing, you know, just let him have this. Come on, man. So I do not begrudge you for saying that you haven't watched any of the James Bond, but I would encourage you at some point to start wherever you want because it's a lot of movies to get through. And
So I've heard.
and more importantly, not all of them are good. So it's a bit of a slog because some of the like 70s and 80s Bonds, they're just silly. And yeah,
It can't be worse than Star Wars.
watch them and then we'll talk. So look,
Do you think that I snubbed a couple songs? Like, what do you?
no, I wouldn't say you snubbed any songs. I mean, because this is your list. So these are the
Yeah,
movies that are the movie soundtrack songs that you like. Because the thing that's kind of nice about this topic is that it is ripe for a volume two, volume three, volume four of your favorite movie soundtrack songs. So if you're willing to come back for more of these, love to have you back on for those to either do the classical or the movie scores, Disney songs, what have you, whatever you want.
I would be willing to do any of them, honestly.
All
So
right. So
let's we'll
we'll
book some sessions.
we'll book some sessions. We'll plan that out. But Patrick, thank you very much for coming on and talking about your movie soundtrack playlist. So greatly appreciated. A lot of great stuff on it. Where can the people find you? And do you have anything that you want to plug?
Yes, you can find my podcast on Facebook at the Cantina Cuisine Podcast. You can find myself on Instagram, same username. You can find me on Spotify. You can listen to episodes for free. You can look at podbeam.com. You can also find my episodes there. I think I got iHeartRadio as well to also have my episodes there. So you can find me basically wherever except for Apple Podcasts because for some reason you have to subscribe to their services even though I already have a distributed website to do that. So it's a little bit weird. I don't like it. So screw you, Apple. Anyways, I
Mhm.
don't no, I like your iPhones, Apples. I promise.
I like your iPhones, just not your service.
Yeah,
No, I
but
so
yeah, you can just find me there. We have put a pause currently on our stuff because we had some people leave, but we are hoping to get more stuff going. We are definitely getting Star Wars and Clone Wars going because my uncle has agreed to come with me as a part-time host to do that. So we'll get that going. And I don't know when this is coming out, but we are going to be planning on doing a Captain America: Brave New World, a gay title quotations of review. So look forward to that around Valentine's Day. So I don't know when you're going to release this. So whenever people can find that, you can find me on there.
got it.
We're also going to be doing a couple episodes. We got some reviews for Mufasa from the last of 2024, and we also got Better Man. I may have alluded to that before, but we do have a review coming out for that kind of soon, so take a look out for that. Otherwise, just be patient. We're going through some structural stuff that's going on, so just be patient. We'll get the groove going, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. And
All right.
who knows? Maybe I might have Mike back.
Just
We'll have to wait and see.
just let me know. Let me know, and I will. If it's something that I could, a movie that I've seen and want to talk about, yeah, just keep me posted. Let me know.
Yeah,
So,
sure. I'm doing
uh,
it. I'm doing a best of 2023 movie month coming up. I think in March or April. I think one. I got a couple of them lined up. I got Wicked lined up. I got Argyle lined up. I got Transformers 1 lined up, and I got one more lined up. I don't think it was Dune 2. I think it was something else. Oh, I have Wild Robot also lined up. So I don't know if you're interested in joining any of those, but let me know.
I will let you know for sure. The Wild Robot or Wicked would probably be up my alley. So we'll talk about that soon. But Patrick, again, thank you very much. And then I'll be sure to link the podcast in the episode description, and we'll go from there.
Alrighty, awesome. Thank you so much for having me, and yeah.
Well, my friends, the time has come to end this episode of Mix CD. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe to anything and everything SPDM Crew wherever you get your podcast. Join us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, YouTube, and Blue Sky at SPDM Crew. Check out our website soon to be out at spdmcrew.com. You can follow our playlist on Spotify and Apple Music at Mike Hilty. Shout out to High Flyer Creative Studios for making our awesome logo. Greatly appreciate their support. And if you have any marketing, logo, or brand standard needs, contact them at highflyercreative.com. If you've got a podcast idea or you're interested in being part of the SPDM crew as a guest or collaborating, email us at spdmcrew@gmail.com. Until next time, no matter what happens now, you shouldn't be afraid because I know today has been the most perfect day I've ever seen.